This is not what your valve is supposed to look like.
If you recall from last time, I was towing the boat back from the Bahamas so we can get it closer to my house so I could start working on it.
Well, after about 24 hours, I am at the dock with the boat. It was a beautiful trip. Couldn't have been any better. Super smooth. We left in rain. A few miscommunications, but overall it was a great trip and the boat made it safely. So now on to the next leg. The next leg will be under its own power. One of the cool things is, while I was out there, I did get the engine, because it was so calm, I worked on the engine, got that engine started, and they left me out on the anchor, a little anchor, while they were bringing the other boat in one at a time. And it drug, so I started up the motor and started driving around on its own power. So that was kind of exciting.
If you recall, the motor that I brought back from the Bahamas in my luggage, well, before I towed the boat back, I had rebuilt that in my garage. The motor you see on the left is the before I rebuilt it, and then the motor on the right is after I had rebuilt it. So after the boat got to Stewart, I loaded it up into my motorhome and took it down there. My good friend Spencer, from when I used to live in Hawaii, moved to Florida about the same time I did. He came and helped me put the motor in. When he offered to help, I'm not sure he knew what he was in for. Although he's known me pretty long, so maybe he did know. Not having a forklift, and also not being right up against the bulkhead with the boat, we had to improvise by using this old crane. It didn't run, but we made the best of it. Because I couldn't make it back to the Bahamas, I had the first engine installed by some mechanics over there. And they took a couple days and charged me like $400, and they didn't even get it all the way hooked up. They just basically bolted it in. Well, Spencer and I were able to not only, without a forklift, get this thing over, get the thing put in there and installed. We were able to get it running in one day, as well as hook up the other engine, and we were pretty much ready to go.
Sound of music.
With both motors running, the next thing we needed to do is get out of the marina. So you can see how wide the boat is here. And to the left, you see how narrow that channel is? We had to make it out through there. Well, the narrowness wasn't such a big problem, but it was too shallow. So due to tides, we had to abort our morning departure and wait till about 5 in the afternoon. Unlike the morning attempt, where we got stuck on the ground, this time we made it out and we were on our way. This was a real high point for me. We were under power with both motors. We were back in Florida. I was super excited. Everything was going well, at least for the time being. So unfortunately, because we had left about 5 in the evening, it meant if we wanted to make it back, we were going to have to drive all night in the dark. The good news is I had prepared for this. I had a really powerful spotlight. We had navigation on my phone. I had the depth sounder rigged up, so I was pretty ready to drive all night, and so that's exactly what we did. We drove all night long, and I'd like to say I have lots of footage as we cruise through the intercoastal waterway all night long, but unfortunately, this is where the memory card on the camera filled up. I bought a lot of new camera equipment and lots of memory cards. I've got lots of footage coming for you of great stuff that we've done on this boat so far. So I want you to right now like and subscribe so that you can see a lot more of this that's going to be coming your way. So we continued on all night in the dark with our spotlight, and we just would check the marker buoys, the left one, the right one, red and green, as we'd go. We checked the marker buoys as we went all the way up the intercoastal, monitoring our depth sounder, just cruising away, watch the map. Spencer and I both took turns driving, and we drove for about 12 hours. Unfortunately, about, I would say, an hour and a half into the trip, all of a sudden we hear this crazy noise out of the port side engine. Now the port side engine was the engine that that I slapped together in the Bahamas. And so I mean, it was like scary noisy, and I had no idea what was going on with it, but it was still running. So we just shut it down, and we decided, well, let's just continue on and let's go the rest of the trip just on the one motor. This is what the trip looked like actually most of the time we were driving in the dark. Actually, it was a little darker. This is kind of light because we were by the bridge. But this is us going under one of the bridges that we crossed on the way up. The engine I rebuilt ran beautifully the whole time. It was a great break-in for it, and we arrived at about 5 in the morning. This was a real high point for me. We had the boat going under its own power. Everything was going great. And I had it anchored right by my house. We were getting ready to haul it out so I could figure out where to put it to work on it. That's when everything turned bad. It went from the best time to the worst time. And I started to question, hey, why did I buy this boat? Why did I even get into a project like this? The list of things that went wrong just goes on and on. First, the engine that broke, and we're going to cover that in a little bit, tear that apart and find out what's wrong with that. We can deal with that. But then I was scammed by people at the mooring. Then someone broke into the boat and stole thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Basically all my new stuff, all the new depth sounder, all the new stuff that I put on there. I had a lithium battery on there. They just broke in and stole everything. Then my anchor got stuck. The anchor got stuck when I tried to bring the boat in to unload some stuff off of it, and we couldn't get it out. Then I damaged the boat, the whole catwalk. I damaged the catwalk trying to get the anchor unstuck. I even dove on the anchor and I couldn't get it unstuck. It was just one thing after another, just kept going wrong and kept going wrong and kept going wrong. I did, however, at the mooring meet a few good people that you'll see later in the haul out. And so it wasn't all bad, but just at this time, just everything was going bad, and I just was super busy with work, and I was wondering, why in the world did I get into this project? And I just was like, this was just a stupid idea, and I was just really down about the whole thing at this point. It was really bothering me too about this stuff that was stolen from the boat. So I've been working to get over that. So enough of this. Let's talk about that motor that had the problem. This is not what your valve is supposed to look like. So after running this engine, this is the one that didn't rebuild, that I slapped together in the Bahamas. After about an hour running, one of the valves got sucked in. So you can see here, this is the new valve. I just installed it. So the culprit is this guy, the valve spring. Well, it's in multiple pieces. So the valve spring, I guess, was too rusted. This is what it's supposed to look like. Even these ones aren't that great. But the valve spring rusted, it broke, and then when it breaks, the valve falls into the cylinder and can do a little bit of damage to the cylinder. I need to get this engine running so that I have some maneuverability. So we're gonna see if this guy is not too damaged to at least run and give me some maneuverability. It was running with the valve like that, so I assume it's gonna run again, but we'll see how long. I just need this to get to be able to navigate the boat until I can get it on dry dock. Then I can pull this whole engine out and rebuild it, just like I did the other one. Well, I put the other engine together and got it running, but turns out I didn't even actually use it. I just brought it into the dock on the one motor. So you can see there on the dock holding the line, that's my good friend UFO Mike. I met him out on the mooring, one of the great guys out there. And then walking on that far other dock, that's my other friend Alex that I met out there at the mooring, and he just got hooked up with a boat that he'll be out there on the mooring too. So it's pretty cool. Met some pretty cool guys. So this is where I was basically getting in the water. You can see me there under the water, trying to pull those straps under the boat and make sure they aren't on the shafts and get them in the right spot so that we can get this thing craned out. So interesting story, even though I don't have a video of it. My anchor, I told you, that got stuck. It got stuck about, I don't know, 200 feet out. They pulled it out after we hauled the boat out. They pulled it out with the crane. It took 9,000 pounds of pull to get it out with the crane. And so one of the things that happened here as we started to pull the boat out. The boat, its spec said empty it was supposed to weigh 17,000. In full cruise mode, it was supposed to weigh 24,000 pounds. And so I pulled all the stuff that I could get out of it. I pulled the batteries, I pulled all sorts of stuff out of it. And so as he picked it up here, he started to pull it out of the water. We had it just about out, and he said I was weighing 26,000. So I was even 2,000 over what the maximum was supposed to be, which was about all that he could do with the crane without adding counterbalance. And so what you see him doing here is he's slowly kind of sliding it closer in, because he can't have that much weight out on too much of a reach. And so eventually we set the boat back down and are able to reposition the straps and get it back up and put it onto the trailer. In the next episode, you're going to see us take this boat, put it on the trailer, and drive it down the road, right through downtown. So go ahead, like the video now, subscribe, let me know in the comments what I should do to improve these videos, what you like, what you don't like, and if you want me to keep making them. Thanks a lot, and I will see you next time.